Hello, everyone. We will get started at exactly 3 p.m. I have sent out a reminder email to our community members as a reminder for them to join. So I am just circling back at this time to make sure we will not have to reschedule for tomorrow. So again, 3 o'clock will be our start time, and we are praying that we have quorum.
You hear from Brittany?
I just sent her a personal text message, and I am about to reach out to Mr. McNeely and Principal Blair. If you can reach out to Mr. Sumlin. Is Pritchett in the room with you all?
She's on her way up.
Okay, all right.
And Melody Johnson is a no. She's off.
We can vote her in, is what they said, so, um,
Which one? Yep, what'd she do? She
So
got,
Melody Johnson is already in,
she got on the bus,
she did.
yeah,
but we don't have the vacancy.
I wasn't told to put her anywhere
is
else.
Not, filled, and that person name is Shantae Coates. So,
Thank you.
from looking at the agenda, we did not have that as a part of today's meeting. So,
Don't go in her office.
Shantae Coates is gonna be the
well, Melody is still a part of the Go Team. She just hasn't, but the vacant seat, we would have to vote, and we didn't add that as a part of today's agenda.
I'm tripping because it's delayed, so she's talking there, but she's
That's what they want. They'll give them what they want. I told them that our boards couldn't, it doesn't stream with.
one more wake up.
What?
One more wake up.
You got it. You got it.
I get up there. Why am I there?
Yeah.
That's not a good picture either.
I think it's because you're the only one off mute.
Oh.
Okay, I just got notice that two people are having technical difficulties, so let's just bear with them and give them a few more minutes before we get started. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Good afternoon and welcome to the William and Boyd's Go Team meeting where we will follow the agenda as been emailed to you and publicly noticed. I am pleased to call this meeting of the William and Boyd Elementary Go Team to order. Our first order of business is to call roll. The secretary will now take the roll. Dr. Littlejohn, do you mind coming off mute?
Sorry. Good afternoon. When I call your name, please indicate that you are present. Gretchen Blair,
Present.
Melody Johnson, Brittany White,
Present.
Andrea Pritchett,
Present.
Catherine Allred,
Present.
Tori Sumlin,
Good afternoon, I am present.
Tim McNeely,
Present.
Shakia Spearman.
Present. This team will only be able to take official action if a quorum is present. Is there a quorum present?
Yes, it is.
Our first order of business is to approve the agenda. This was provided to you. I've dropped it in the chat box. Please take a moment to review the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda? So I have a change to the agenda. I would like to amend the agenda by adding changing Roman numeral 1 to call to order, changing Roman numeral 2, roll call, establishment of quorum, and I would like to add a fifth Roman numeral to announcements. There is an announcement from the Go Team office, so I'd like to add that as well. Dr. Littlejohn, would you like for me to repeat that?
Yes, please.
Okay. We are adding Roman numeral 1, call to order.
Okay.
Changing Roman numeral 2 to roll call, establishment of quorum. Roman numeral 3 is action items. Roman numeral 4, information items. No. Hold on. 3, 4. I'm sorry. Roman numeral 4, discussion items. Roman numeral 5, information items. And then Roman numeral 6, finally, is announcements.
Gotcha.
Okay. May I have a motion to approve the amended agenda?
I motion to approve.
A second?
Second.
All in favor say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
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 We will review the approved minutes from our last meeting. The last minutes have been provided to you. Are there any corrections? If there are no corrections, may I have a motion to approve the previous meeting minutes?
I motion to approve the previous meeting's minutes.
A second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed say nay. Okay, we will now move forward to the discussion items on our agenda. Our next agenda item is budget feedback presentation. Principal Blair will walk us through the proposed school draft budget, which was shared with everyone before the meeting. After the presentation, we'll have a discussion about how the budget aligns with our strategic priorities. Principal Blair, is that what's in the slide, what I need to share? Is that what you want me to share?
I can share it if you like.
Okay, just drop it in the chat box for us.
The slideshow?
Your feedback presentation, correct? And
That's in the, if you want to take it from the drive,
Okay, I will.
I don't know that they're gonna have access to it because it's in our drive. So I'm gonna share it on the screen
Okay.
until we post it.
Before you start, as we review the budget, it is important to focus on how many adjustments from the district's recommended funding support our school's goals. This is the opportunity for us as a Go Team to provide feedback and ensure that our school is making the most of its available resources. Principal Blair will explain this throughout her draft. So Principal Blair, you can go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Please let me know if you can see it. So we're receiving a delay here in the building. If you can can you see it? You
No.
can't see it? Okay, hold
We can't see it yet.
on.
Okay,
Now,
yes.
okay. All right, and let me make sure that you can see it now. Is it bigger? Perfect. Okay. All right, so we have our meeting norms, as we know. This is a meeting, the Go Team, only the Go Team members may participate in the discussion. Any members of the public present are to quietly observe. We will follow the agenda as noticed. We invite and welcome contributions of every member and listen to each other, and we will assume good intentions from everyone. All right. So we are now in our budget feedback and presentation, God bless you, and discussion process. We have reviewed our data. We have reviewed our strategic plan. And last meeting, we talked about our budget parameters. Now we are looking at our budget choices based on the feedback you had provided me on our last Go Team meeting. So we are at step 5. Go Team meeting that should take place between February 10th through the 14th. My meeting with my cluster soup will actually be on February 24th, not the 17th through the 21st. It will be on the 24th. And we will begin those conversations for any staffing based on your feedback after. All right, so the what? During our feedback today of our Go Team, I'm meeting with you to discuss our 25-26 strategic plan and drafting our school's budget. So we're going to look at what we have in our strategic plan, and then we're going to discuss our why as far as supporting our scholars here in the building and what's necessary to ensure that they have the foundations necessary to matriculate to middle school. And this is going to be a win again. The win is the 10th of February through the 14th of February before my cluster superintendent's review on, again, February 24th. Because of how, I'm sorry, you all, it's the way that I've saved it in the drive now, and it's making me click differently. Hold on. All right, so our strategic plan. When we discussed our strategic plan, looking at the data, we understand that we were focused on instruction. So our instruction data curriculum was our primary focus, especially with our primary focus was literacy with a secondary focus on math. Looking at literacy, we were focusing on fluency, comprehension, as well as writing. Beyond that, we were focused on the math skills and increasing our math skills from at least 3%, increasing our end of grade from literacy from 22.4% to 28%. We know that here at Boyd, we are trying to support the whole child as well as the family members, and we have several barriers here in our cluster. So the team discussed as our strategic plan, continuing our WCI community, but with the use of a counselor, social worker, parent liaison, disproportionality specialist, MTSS, and attendance specialist here at William and Boyd Elementary School. We are utilizing our district support in order to increase our knowledge for our scholars within literacy and math. So we have our math specialists coming out as well as our reading, writing specialists supporting. We also have our social studies science specialists coming out. And with us being a TSI school, we are being supported with the district turnaround specialists, specifically for our students with disabilities. We are now trying to create a student experience here at William M. Boyd that has a partnership feeling behind it, so that the parents and the community are working with us and we are working with them in order to support the scholars and have them here engaged each and every day. My little fingers, I'm sorry, you all. Let me tap, see if it'll move one. Oh, that was the next one, okay. Oh, God. All right, so we ranked our school priorities. I'm gonna go down the rankings and then read our rationale. Right now, in K through 2, every classroom has a paraprofessional to support kindergarten through first grade. I'm sorry, not K through 2, K through first. And we would like to continue that support in the classroom setting to provide small group and differentiation of instruction to our scholars. So we are seeing that if we can target those kids with the deficits that they are presenting, because this is our last COVID group, we are able to actually maximize our instructional time throughout the day with the small group and differentiation of instruction based on our standards. Our wraparound services through WCI are playing a huge role here in our building. So WCI is now meeting twice a week. We're meeting 1 with the entire team and then 2 with our attendants and with community support, because we are finding that we have parents that need additional assistance here in our community that is beyond what we can solidify just during the WCI meeting standard throughout the week. So we have chosen to add an additional day to support our family. So that's how we've increased it. And so looking at our budget, I heard you say that the last time, is how can we support our families? We have been working with our communities, our partners, and assisting getting those parents in. The phone calls are being made. We have parents making phone calls looking for children. We also have teachers making phone calls, as well as our attendance specialists and social worker making phone calls in order to get our children and parents back in the building. And last, we have increased our reading lexile levels, specifically in grades 2 through 5. We want to continue to support the writing of grades 3 through 5, and we had to restructure our program. So in our building, I have now we created a remediation Wednesday that I discussed previously, but now we're down to about 40 days of school. So we're at the big push where we know that we need to focus on writing, we need to focus on the genres, we need to focus on short answer responses, and children understanding how to use the platforms as they are testing. So our big push now is possibly increasing our math and literacy in grades 3 through 5 from 70 minutes to 90 minutes a day. I'm sorry, 3 and 4 will increase 90 minutes. And then 5th grade will increase 90 minutes for math and ELA. However, our science and social studies will remain at 45 minutes. That's including their recess, lunch, as well as PE. So we are specifically targeting our group that we've looked at their data so that we can support them academically and provide the most instruction throughout a school day. Any questions about this set of priorities that I've gone over and the rationale thus far? Okay. All right. So this year, the district has implemented a zero-based budgeting process for signature and turnaround funds. I had to write a rationale for the positions that we discussed in order to see if we would be approved for those fundings based on the zero balance. So they allocated the funding based on efficiency and necessity rather than budget history. So we do not have a traditional budget, but right now we had to balance so that the initial allocation would start at 0. I was then, I wrote the proposal, presented a rationale, and then the feedback was provided and monies were deposited. And so then the money was distributed based on the programs and the ask of the GO team. which we will see. All right. So requested funds for signature. I requested $284,488. I requested that money for the following positions. I requested for a signature program coach and a STEM lab teacher. Signature approved funds, we received $205,832. We were able to keep our signature program coach and our STEM lab teacher based on the funding. So approximately $78,000 short, but we were able to move some money around in order to keep those positions. So this is the signature side. Questions regarding signature? Okay. And so our STEM lab teacher will continue supporting our scholars with, and it's actually STEM, with science, technology, engineering, and arts, math, as well as the signature program coach who will be supporting, again, I'm wrapping all of our services around. So she will be supporting the reading literacy through science, through social studies, through STEM, and supporting our STEM lab teacher. So it was important because we saw the largest amount of growth through this program to continue to fund these positions. All right, turnaround funds. In the turnaround funds, we requested a behavior specialist and a turnaround attendance specialist. In the request was $295,118. We were approved for the entire funding of $295,118. Our turnaround behavior specialist. So in a perfect world, if I can find this person, and we are going to look high and low for this person will also have a special education background. This person will also be familiar with MTSS. This person will also be familiar with how to de-escalate behaviors in our building. So I want them to be capable to support in various areas, as well as support our MTSS caseload that has increased, which we want to support our students academically. This is what was necessary in order for us to move forward. And our turnaround attendance specialists, our attendance, looking at CCRPI attendance from last year this time, was approximately 36.3%. We are sitting now about approximately 20% higher at 56.3. The snow days dropped us down. We were at 60.1, but the snow days have affected us, but our kids are now matriculating back into the building. The goal is for us to hit 70% with CCRPI growth around attendance this year, and that's the rationale for keeping our attendance specialists. So the phone calls being made, catching those parents when they come through the door, if they're only bringing their child once a week, asking them what we can do, how we can assist. Do we need to try to get the buses out? Are they having difficulty with their cars? Why they're not sending their kids to school? That comes from our attendance specialist, and then the attendance specialist also includes the social worker in order to support the full wraparound services, which is why we had to separate the two. So grateful for the district, and thank you again for the turnaround funds in order to support those positions. All right. So we're going to look at the earned funded staff and different positions again. I'll try to go slowly. I know that my screen is not letting me move my arrows oh, there they are. Okay. It went back from the beginning, you all, so hold on. Perfect. Did I go too far? Yep. All right. So fiscal year 26 summary of proposed staffing and non-staffing. This was an example of what we will see. So currently we are staffed for approximately 439 kids in the fall. We have all of our teachers back, every last one. What I did have to cut back on, and we need to discuss, is we were sharing band. We were sharing a band teacher with Harper Archer at 0.5. And our world language still remains, and our gifted increased from 0.5 to 1.0 as we discussed. ESOL, we're expecting an increase again. We're sitting at 0.4 with support. And of course, we have our interrelated teachers and our special ed lead teacher. On our general funds, we have 4 special education paras. I'm sorry, 4 special education paras and 3 kindergarten paras currently. You'll see the staffing for my administration, which is myself, my AP, the business manager, the addition of the bookkeeper we discussed, this sheet includes our Readers for Leaders instructional coach. Our counselor is now on our general school budget instead of turnaround. Our media specialist, our nurse, our school social worker, our custodians that run the building. You will notice that our ETS will be removed, but we still have 8 turnaround paraprofessionals that we need to discuss. Our school resource officer and our site manager. So, what was created to support this budget? We created a turnaround behavior and attendance specialist, created a STEM lab teacher, created a gifted teacher 1.0 full-time here at Boyd, an elementary counselor was created, and a bookkeeper. We removed our band teacher and our instructional technology specialist. So I want to give a pause right here for any questions regarding these positions, because this is where we had the most conversation last month regarding these created positions. Any questions around what was created or what was removed?
I have a question. So the bookkeeper, the duties and responsibilities of the bookkeeper will be in addition to, we don't have a bookkeeper now, right? Who is the bookkeeper? Our secretary?
It should have been the school secretary. However, that role is not being fulfilled by the school secretary.
Okay.
Mr. Sumler?
So if I understand, the bookkeeper position will ultimately will absorb the secretary's position, and the business manager will remain. Am I correct?
Not this year. The goal is.
No, I mean, for the next year. This is, I think the last time we talked about it, we will add the bookkeeper, keep the secretary's position, but then the next budget year, phase out the secretary's position and the bookkeeper will assume that.
Yes, sir. That's
Okay, that's
exactly
still
what
the
we
plan.
said.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure that was still the plan. I understand.
Yes. The band teacher was shared. The band teacher has been out of our building, as we know, for probably 2 months now. So it just wasn't feasible to keep a band teacher here for 90 minutes a day and pay half of their salary. And they're sitting at the other school. So we eliminated the band, and now the goal is to add a chorus class here in our building, and we didn't need to hire another teacher for that. That's
you said-
something that can already be taught by the person that we have in our building.
You said add the chorus teacher full time.
The chorus teacher will be a body of a teacher we already have in the building.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ms. Taylor.
I have a question. So we're gonna have I'm trying to make sure I understand correctly. So this budget is for the upcoming school year, correct?
25, 26.
And so we're gonna have a bookkeeper and a secretary for 25, 26?
Yes.
We're budgeting for both positions?
Yes.
So why would we have both? Because
The position that one is filling, so let me, Okay, I have to think rationally of how I want to present this information. We have a person sitting in a secretarial position that does not have the skill set in order to operate both bookkeeping and secretarial, even with training, and we have supported that person since I have been here. So the goal is, because we have several areas that need support with teachers and parents, is to provide that as well as try to increase that person's skill set. So the conversation is around how to provide additional support for family, students, teachers, and parents here in the building, as well as keep that person in the front office.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And so the bookkeeper will help with registration, because we know at the beginning of the year, the registration is on one person, which is that position of the secretary. We also have that one person operating the entire front desk, running copies and doing everything in the building without any additional support. So that person also cannot collect money, that person cannot do time, that person cannot do payroll. So we are really layering on one other person or position in this building to complete all the tasks that the secretary should be able to do that they cannot. So we're trying to provide the additional layer of support of help the 25-26 school year. And if that does not work, then we're going to absolutely bring it back to the Go team the following school year, because we cannot have both the bookkeeper and a school secretary. Does that answer your question? Am I frozen? Okay.
I think she probably didn't come off mute, but yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, the mute button wouldn't pop up. Every time I need it, it doesn't come up. But yes, that answered the question.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And did it stop working again? It did. Okay. All right. Let's look, and I'm sorry, I was trying to slide it over and end up moving the screen. My apologies, you all. This is
I
horrible.
have a quick question.
Yes, sir.
So, this year, the bookkeeper is going to give us an opportunity, whomever that person may be, that fulfills that position. That'll give us an opportunity to determine that this person is a good fit for that role. Does that kind of give us an opportunity to see if that person will be able to exemplify the necessary traits to take on the position for bookkeeper, as you mentioned, as well as those secretarial duties this school year?
Absolutely.
Okay, all right. And once we do that, then we'll be back at this place again to discuss the position for secretary
That's correct.
and allow for that position to absorb it. And this will be our test to see how that works.
Yes, that's the goal.
Okay, all right.
All right. Our non-staffing tab shows how funds are allocated for non-staff items. There is school flexibility for most of the items, but the tab has columns for recommended. So that's the recommended amount to spend on an item. Our allocation shows us how much the principal is proposing to allocate towards that line item. And the difference shows us between the recommended amount. All right. So in our reserve, there's $116,324. We placed $16,318 in district funded. Well, I'm sorry, there were $16,318 placed in district funded field trips. $50 that we actually allocated 46,236 into, I'm sorry, scratch that. We received 21,950. We allocated there was allocation of 46,236, which was a difference of $24,286. We are going to use this money to purchase any furnishings around the building, faculty supplies, nurse supplies, and any other official supplies necessary. We've earmarked $8,080 for Promethean boards and other electronic equipment, $3,512 for anything necessary for our media center. We have the security grant equipment for fencing around our school grounds. So if you have been at Boyd and you know that our building is on one side, especially the side with the belt line, is open after the fence ends right around our playground area. We have people breaching our playground each and every day and our campus, and they're doing things to staff cars as well as vandalizing our playground and dumping trash now. So the goal is to use the 45,000 because the focus this year with the 45,000 was school safety, additional cameras. We're looking at possible metal detectors at our entry points, but the fencing is the next large lift here at Boyd Elementary School. So that's what we will start off with our $45,000 grant. Academic stipends will go to our grade level chairs. We put 19,500 there, and anyone supporting after school programs, and 69,190 for substitutes. All right. We have a total of $321,651 where we spent, and it was allocated at 228,297. So our priorities, as we talk about our priorities, fiscal year 25 funding priorities from the school strategic plan, we discussed those and rank them in order of importance. We looked at our APS 5 area and the parts of our APS 5, do we agree that they were aligned to our priorities based on our budget? So at this point, this is our discussion breakout categories. We're going to look at our strategies, lays out, do we cite specific objectives for school improvement? The ask, what needs to be funded in order to support the strategy, and the costs associated with the request. So based on the breakout categories we have here in our discussion from our last Go Team meeting, have we met the needs of the school based on our strategic plan? And so I'll open it up. Mr. Sumlin, your hand is still raised. Are you going to begin with us?
I did have a question. It was a couple of moments ago. You stated that we would be allocating funds to upgrade the Promethean boards throughout the building, or will it be just a certain number of?
It will be the ones that are the oldest if necessary. So the
Okay.
district did provide, I believe it was 17, maybe around fall break. I would have to get you the exact number, and they did update several of those boards through that, but we have some that still are not up to date.
Okay, so the ones that are in the building now are outdated. They don't have the ability to, for instance, use maybe a Zoom function or have some type of that they're not that current. Is that what I
In
understand?
specific areas, you're absolutely correct, yes.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Nope. Thank you, Principal Blair, for that overview. So team, let's start our.
Ms. Spearman,
Yes.
hold on just a second, okay? We
Okay.
have to do by function so that everyone understands what we actually were granted. So our projected enrollment is 439. We have full-time instruction at 51.3, so that's bodies. FTE is our bodies. Pupil services is 7.5. Improvement of instructional service is 4. Media service is 1. School administration is 5. And maintenance and operations is 4 bodies in the building. So our budget right now is at $8,488,361 with an approximate value of $19,336 per pupil. Questions around that? Mr. Sumlin, is your hand raised again, or yes?
It is. I know we had a conversation, about the, media, specialist position. Can you, refresh my memory? I think we talked about, um, making a change to that position to a para versus, the media specialist for the purpose of, saving. Is that what I remember?
You are correct. We talked about adding services, so maybe a media specialist paraprofessional to support that person, or changing it to a completely para within that class, in that media center. Looking at the budget, once I was able to balance it, I realized I could keep the media specialist in the building. But I am not the final say-so. This team is the final say-so. So that's something we can discuss with the team. So if anyone else wants to chime in, this is a great time to assist me if we are looking to go back to possibly going to a media para instead of a media specialist.
So I have a question. Will the media specialist, because we are getting rid of the in-house ETS, will the media specialist, if we decide to keep the media specialist, will they take on those technology duties that the current ETS is doing within the building, or will we just utilize the assistance from the district support for that position?
So in a perfect world, Ms. Spearman, yes, we would have a media specialist that could take on everything that our ITS is doing.
ITS, I'm sorry, okay.
However, we're going to need to provide training for that person because we have a brand new media specialist. So we're going to need our district support still in order to support the media specialist. It would be the same thing if we were to hire a media paraprofessional. It's just that the salary, let me see if I can go up, is probably half. Our media specialist is $149,001. Our media specialist para is $56,118. It's half of that.
So let's just say, hypothetically speaking, if we were to agree to dissolve the media specialist and just do it with the media para, what happens to the remaining money from the $149,000? How will we absorb that, and where could it go for the school?
So I would want to put it back into a classroom environment or with a body support in the classroom, because that again could be another paraprofessional.
Yeah.
But I would have to request, there's a special form that I need to fill out to receive the other portion of that salary back into our budget.
Okay.
Does it require, well, two things. So when we start talking about having discussions surrounding the media specialist versus the media para, we do realize, I think we're all clear, that it's going to be necessary for both of them to receive the necessary training from the district in order to fulfill the position for ITS, right? So with that being said, if we have discussions and we abolish the position for media specialists and go with the media para, and we have that extra money left over, in writing the request, do we have to present, or do you have to present to the district in that request what you're going to allocate those monies for, or do you just say, hey, I want to put them back into the building? How does that work?
I would need to make the adjustment by tomorrow, close of business, if we were going to change it. And that would be part of my conversation with my cluster superintendent for approval.
So we would need to be able to say, as the Go team, hey, if we decide to do that, those other monies, let's go ahead and just decide that we're going to support hiring another paraprofessional para to work somewhere in the building. We don't have to identify exactly where, do we? Or we just, I mean, how does, do we need to be that specific? We don't have to
identify specifically where that body is going. And we could use it towards educational training, instructional practices for our teachers as well. It was just a thought that I know that money would automatically cover a body or a position of a para, However,
Okay.
we can do instructional training where we can actually get people from outside the district that are training into our building to support our PLs and PDs, especially being a TSI school. So there are various ways we could use the funding if the team were to move that way.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Ms. Allred, your hand is up.
Yeah, I was just wondering, because the media specialist is really new, could she be on a similar situation as to what our school secretary is doing, where she kind of gets that extra support next year to like take over the IT, and then we just reassess next year to say, you know, she's able to handle both these positions really well, we do need to keep her, or maybe we need somebody else in that position.
Absolutely.
Okay,
But that's up to the team.
okay,
So I like the conversation, but we need to discuss which way we want to move because I would need to adjust the budget template tonight,
okay.
no later than tomorrow.
Okay.
So based on what we're hearing, let's talk about media specialist, and I'm gonna turn that piece back over to Ms. Spearman because that's a discussion I would prefer for her to lead. And budget by function, Ms. Spearman, just want to show the pie chart. So we are spending 67%, the majority of our lump sums on instruction and 11% on pupil services. We are spending 7% on improving instructional services, and then the other 9% is admin. So our largest areas. And I'm going to stop sharing so that you can proceed with your discussion, Ms. Spearman. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I've earmarked this part of my script for about 30 minutes or so much. Okay, thank you, Principal Blair, for that overview. Let's start our discussion by examining how the proposed budget supports our strategic priorities. We want to ensure it aligns with our school's plan while making the best use of our flexibility. Keeping our focus on strategic priorities will help ensure any adjustments are intentional and support our goals. To guide our conversation, let's consider the following: strategic alignment and school level flexibility. A, does the proposed budget as a whole effectively support our school strategic priorities? Any feedback from that one? Okay. B, how do the principal's proposed changes directly support priorities in our strategic plan? Can we clearly connect each adjustment to a strategic goal? Okay.
Yes,
If new positions, resources, or programs are being added, what data or feedback supports these changes? How will we measure their impact? And I don't think we added any new positions. No, we didn't. Okay. D, what trade-offs are involved? Are any current programs or resources being adjusted or reduced? And how will that affect our students and staff? Okay. Moving on to number 2, district and cluster priorities. How
Ms.
do these,
Spearman, am I allowed to respond to your last question, or is that part of just the Go team?
it's a part of just conversation, so it's for discussion.
Okay. As far as the instructional practice for students here in the building, we have not adjusted anything. Matter of fact, we are gaining in order to support our children here in the building. So the budget, even though we were $80,000 short, or approximately $80,000 short, we are not losing any capacity of a position that would directly impact a child within a classroom. And right now, our class sizes would continue to decrease. Our largest grade levels would be kindergarten, and the next largest would be our 4th grade population. So that was a priority. So I built around children first before impacting the positions outside of the classroom that were support.
Okay. Okay, moving on to district and cluster priorities. How do these proposed changes align with district and cluster priorities? Do we foresee any changes or misalignments? B, if the district has allotted funds for specific initiatives, for example, signature programs, how are those reflected in our budget? C, If we're sharing staff positions, example, nurse, counselor, teacher, in our instance, band, how will these affect student support and service delivery at our school? And I think Principal Blair addressed that by saying that we will replace band with the chorus. And so that would still align us with the A in the arts for our STEAM.
It will, and we also have the body here in the building, so we did not have to purchase or share a position with another school in order to support that.
Okay. As a Go team, we have the opportunity to provide input on this budget before it moves forward. If we believe adjustments are needed to better align with our strategic plan, we can propose and discuss them now. Once we conclude our discussion, we will take a vote on the draft budget. After this meeting, Principal Blair will take the approved approved draft to the cluster superintendent, and for Principal Blair, that's February 24th, and HR staffing conference. Following those meetings, we will meet again to review any final updates and vote on our school's final budget recommendations. So if you saw something that you had questions about and you need more clarity on, this is the time to do so. Because our next action item will be approving this draft for it to move to the next step.
I just had a question about paras. So I'm just trying to make sure I read it right. So we're keep Kendra paras and budget, but
We retiring, and so then pre-K, we will lose a para, but that para will move to, the para that will be lost is gonna move to pre-K. So be reassigned to pre-K. So technically, we only lost one, but that's because that person is retiring.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So, but we're not keeping first or second?
Yes,
Oh, we are?
yes.
Oh, wow, okay. I'm
Yes.
impressed. You made that happen.
Yes,
Okay.
you'll keep everyone.
Okay.
Minus the one that is retiring.
got it. Okay. Well,
Chief Sumlin?
So do I understand? So, I know someone had said it earlier. So we want to, or do we agree, since we're having discussions around the budget? So we agree, or is it the consensus of the team that we keep the media specialist currently since she's new and provide her with that support for that ITS position to see how that works for us the same way we discussed earlier about the bookkeeper, and then see how that works. And then if we need to have a discussion, we come back to the table. Is that what I understood?
Correct. And Principal Blair, correct me if I am wrong. Chief Sumlin, when we say come back to the table, I think it'll be around the same time next year. When we
Correct.
talk about the changes that'll be made for the following year. So we'll just have to, if anyone does not meet up to our expectations, we'll have to live through it the whole entire year. So just keep
Right,
that
we
in
have to
mind.
work through, right, we have to work through what we're
Correct.
agreeing to. We're gonna have to live with what we're saying right
Yes,
now
sir.
throughout the school
Yes, sir.
year, and see if it works out favorably, which is what we're hoping for. But if it doesn't, then we know that we've had these discussions already.
Yes.
Because
And
I'm not in the building, so you know that's why I'm asking you all, because you all are in the building and you all have to deal with the brunt of this. I'm on the outside. I pop into the building, every now and then, so that's why I want to make sure that I ask and I can understand, so you guys can have better input, because you all have the ability to see better than I do. I would just hear from it.
Yes. Miss Allred, I see your hand.
I just never put it down. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. Anything else? Anyone else would like to tap into our discussion? All right. Thank you, Principal Blair, for sharing this information. I will now entertain a motion to approve the draft budget. I can't.
Motion
At
to
this
approve
time-
the draft budget.
Okay, a second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. We will now move on to the information items. First is the principal's report.
All right, so we had our first chat and chew last week, Friday. That was a success. We actually had it virtual as well as we did a hybrid, the bottom line. And our parents actually showed up, provided information. I was excited, and they said that they would like to see that more often. So we are going to try to do it every other week or bi-weekly in order to support and pull in our community members, our families, and I've asked the parents that were here in the building to also reach out to other parents, maybe try to pull them in and say, hey, this is what's going on. One of the asks, or two of the asks, were one, they have a sneaker ball. They wanted that immediately. So now parents are coming back in and they're like, Miss Blair, I was stopped this morning, sneaker ball time. So we are working on our sneaker ball, as well as discussions around end of the year activities. We are working towards incentives for attendance, because if the children are in the building, we can teach the children. When they are at home, we don't have access to them. So we are looking at small nuggets to drop from now until the end of the school year to support our children coming in the building. So we're working on the Friday, which is, I believe, the 27th of February, in order to have our first incentive for kids that have attended school for 5 days. So we are now planning that out so that it happens each and every Friday to support those kids. We have our Girls with Pearls and our Boys with Boys of Boyd that we are still in support of, and asking for parental involvement in order to support our kids, as well as that community involvement. I want to thank Mr. McNeely and Mr. Sumlin, because they have been working with our families in the community through MPUG, as well as I believe it's Rolling Hills, what we know as Etheridge, they have been supporting our families, coming in, meeting with us, and telling us what is necessary in order to get the kids in the building. So we are seeing some small growth, but it'd be wonderful if we could get more parent buy-in, as well as the community, because we're starting to see the community come in from both sides of the bridges here at Boyd Elementary School.
Okay, thank you, Principal Blair. If there are any additional announcements, you can share them at this time. And then I have some. You also forgot, Principal Blair, to add that we've had two what did Miss McNair do? Two visits, two walkthroughs, two tours. We've also had 2 tours requested. The tour request is online, so Mr. Neely and Mr. Sumlin, you can also share that with your community, that if you have someone new that has just moved to the community, that if they would like to tour or visit Boyd Elementary, that tab is available on our website. Also, with Girls with Pearls, aside from the cute name, we have tapped into our STEM this week. So our Girls with Pearls got a chance to do some DIY cosmetics. They made their own lip balm, and with the help of Dr. Littlejohn, now I feel like a scientist. It was a big hit. We had all types of different names. They were very creative. And so that is something that we can applaud the girls. I know they probably made a mess when they got home, but that was super exciting. Also, as Principal Blair mentioned, with attendance, the social worker, I am the attendance specialist, current attendance specialist, but the social worker and myself, in order to support CCRPI, we have been looking at the data to see which of those kids have not attended school 90% of the time, and taking the ones that need about 5 or 6 consecutive days to attend to move over to that does meet, and incentivizing those kids. Right, we started with 20 last week, and today I had a family emergency today, but on tomorrow, those kids who did meet that 90% mark will be incentivized on Valentine's Day. So that's pretty cool. And then we're doing it in chunks, in small groups. And so that will be a rolling and consistent thing with attendance, just moving those kids over to that mark so that we can keep those kids there, and by the end of the school year, make sure that all of those kids who are able and capable with parent buy-in meet that 90% of the time that they're in school. So that is my last additional information item. Okay, we do have an announcement from the Go Team office. Declarations for Go Team elections are open until February 28th. We will need both parent/guardian and non-supervisory instructional staff candidates. If you're interested, or if you know anyone else who would be a good fit for our team, please direct them to apsstrongschools.com to declare their candidacy. If you have any questions, contact the Go team. Does anyone have any additional announcements? And I do have a request, Mr. Neely, if you could share that information, and I'll give it to you directly to share with the new property manager at your site. I would love for them to be a part of our Go team for next year as well, just to keep us abreast what's going on with our kids and our families. So that is an invitation, and I will get you the necessary information. Well, we have reached the end of our agenda. Is there any additional business at this time? All right. Well, may I have a motion to adjourn this meeting? Okay,
Motion
a
to adjourn the
second.
meeting at 4:02 p.m.
Okay, and a second?
Second.
All right. This meeting is adjourned, and guess what? I have an 18-year-old today. So pray for me. I don't know what that means, but I don't know.
Congratulations.
Everybody keeps saying she's 18. Whatever that means, I have an 18-year-old.
Happy birthday, Leah.
Thank you. I'm like, that's not really grown because that's my baby, but I have an 18-year-old. So whatever that means, if you have an 18-year-old, you know, but hey, I guess I
Ms.
figured.
Byers, we thank you so much
No,
for
thank
joining
y'all
us
so much.
today.
Great meeting. And thank you again for making that announcement. Because on other schools, I'm like, hey, don't forget that announcement. So we really appreciate it. Glad y'all were able to get your quorum in. Everything went great today. So thank y'all so much.
All right.
Principal
Thank
Blair,
you.
appreciate you. Thank
All
you.
right,
Y'all have
have
a
a
great
good day.
weekend.
All right, you too.
All right, everyone.
Bye.
Be safe.
Thank you, everyone else.
Good night.
Everything went great today. So thank y'all so much.